Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a good opportunity to start things out with our good friends from the Cancer Society, and hopefully Ms. Rebecca from Baptist will be here as well. Get a chance to chat with you about the Cancer Society's Lung Cancer Awareness Campaign. 1 o'clock, Mr. Mario Gray will be your guest. Very excited to chat with the young man. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and the excitement in our studio is because I have both Ms. Catherine Ebanks, the project coordinator over at the Cancer Society, and, if I may call her, registered nurse Ms. Rebecca Brooks, the managing director of Baptist Health International in Cayman. Thank you all very much for joining us. And I look at today and I said, you know, it rained and I was dashing between the car back and forth and I got my hair wet. And I thought, jeez, man. But you know what? I was told I was sweet and I didn't melt, so I'm not quite sure. But it's a distinct honor to have both of you in our studio with us today. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Good afternoon. Are we ready to enjoy, embrace the rain and the weather?
Well, we're hoping it's not going to rain next Thursday.
Yeah, and I don't think my hair is too fond of the rain.
Mine either. It didn't behave at all. When I came in, Miss Norma said to me, "Now listen, now because we have the stylist upstairs, right? The makeup art. No, we don't. I had to go to do the But I say that because we get the rain out of the way today, so next Thursday it'll be all bright and shiny, cherry faces and beaming eyes, right, Ms. Rebecca?
Yes, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, amen to that. And I think this is where, as we were just chatting earlier before the break, as we get settled, the idea that we live in a very wonderful place. A lot of good-spirited people who give of themselves, as my good friend Miss Connolly, as they would say, the time, the talent, and the treasure. But we also have the wonderful corporate citizens who come on board and sponsor and contribute and not just provide the other resources, but lend their brand into something. And I think when we look at what you through Baptist been doing, Ms. Rebecca, it's remarkable to see how we're able to continue the educational awareness. So
we love to support the Cancer Society.
Yes,
very
they
close
are amazing
to our hearts. So
it is. Well, welcome on. Tell us about it, because there's some of us who may not be fully cognizant of all the things, but when we think of lung cancer, and for me, it is, our seafarers who, as they age, recognizing that the sacrifices while they're on the ships, unbeknownst to them, it may be asbestos, it may have been other things that they were exposed to, perhaps unknowingly to them, and then they've come back. But there's also other things, and the attempts on our part to maybe look at mitigating the impact of smoking, but still, we have it in our families, and to at least be conscious of it. We at least may be able to take some corrective measures. Yeah. At least hope so.
Yeah, well, as a general rule of thumb, November is really Lung Cancer Awareness Month. But in November, we have Movember, which is the men's cancer. So we decided to change it up a little bit and make May/June the Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And lung cancer is not, every cancer is important. It really is. But I don't think people realise that lung cancer is the third most common cancer. And I was talking on the TV earlier today, actually, and one of the statistics that really hits home and shows me the importance of really sort of screening and prevention and everything is this statistic. So for every 100 people that are diagnosed, just 5 of those are alive 10 years later. So that just shows you that it's the biggest killer of cancer, and we really want to bring awareness to it in terms of smoking cessation. A prime example of what you were just saying, actually, and I was talking to my mum, who's based in the UK, and she was saying how, back in the war times, they thought it was a good thing to give the smokers the cigarettes because it calmed them, it relieved their anxiety. But nobody really knew the health benefits, or no health benefits of it until later on down the line. So unfortunately, those people that people thought they were trying to help, it wasn't, and they're obviously in different predicaments now. And I think the most important thing with the screening and the prevention is that sometimes it's too late when people have got symptoms and started with symptoms. The treatment's often very severe. It is doable, but it makes the job a lot harder once the symptoms have developed. So the idea of the lung cancer awareness is to try and promote screening, smoking cessation. We are offering a low-dose CT scan at our new diagnostic centre on Smith Road. And if you meet certain criteria, and the criteria is like your age between 55 to 80, you're asymptomatic, so that means you don't have any symptoms yet, you're a current or recent smoker, and recent I mean within the last 15 years, and you have a cigarette smoking history of at least 30 pack years, so that's packs per day times years of smoking. So, example, for 15 years of smoking 2 packs a day, that means you've got 30 pack years. That we'll offer a CT scan at the low dose one, which takes like 5 to 10 minutes, really in and out, super fast. And if the insurance doesn't cover it, we offer a special rate of $235 CI, which is a really good price for a CT scan. Let me tell you.
Very good.
No,
That's a very good price for a CT
scan. Is that a 64 slice?
Because it's actually just a 16 slice, but it still shows
all
all the
everything
minutes you need to know.
Sadly, I know this terminology.
So no, it's something we're really trying to bring to the forefront. It's a program that we have at the Miami Cancer Institute that was headed by Dr. Battle over there. So he's very kindly said we can sort of launch it out over here, so we can be part of their statistics as well, which is great.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Ounce of prevention, pound of cure. We've heard that. Hopefully, it does not become a cliche. Hopefully, it hasn't. But as you were sharing, the notion that, and I would ask your guidance when we talk about screening and prevention, and we talk about the event. But I was thinking of things like indoor air quality, or environmental air quality as well. But indoor, the VOCs that we may get, the different off-gassing of the environments, and what, if anything, we can do to mitigate some of that negative consequence. But just the smoking, the second-hand smoking, even the third-hand, I'm told, you hanging out with me who was around someone who was smoking. Could that be affecting, the
Definitely. I mean, I don't know whether you've heard of Roy Castle in the UK. He was a famous trumpeter, and he got lung cancer, and that was because he was playing his trumpet in the bars and obviously inhaling through his trumpet, but he wasn't a smoker himself, and that's what he, so second and third, smoking.
Unfiltered. Yeah. He's getting it direct.
Yeah.
And I think we are too dismissive sometimes of some of these things. We're not appreciative. There's a gentleman, I think I can put it this way without being overly disrespectful, even though he seldom identifies himself. Everybody knows his way. As a physician, he has said publicly, should we, as we look at our legislation, not only make it a societal practice, but make it a law, that in a vehicle, as I think he shared with us in Canada, for instance, you can't smoke in that vehicle if there are people under 18. We know that we can't smoke indoors, irrespective of what that is. Legally, I'm told, we're not supposed to smoke in the parks, over at the sandbar. We're not supposed to smoke on the beaches. Was it 10 feet within an opening? How much of that is enforced? But hopefully it's not legislation, it's a practice. And I think if we don't appreciate how addictive cigarette and tobacco is, speak to someone who's tried quitting, tried quitting. So I really appreciate you putting this together and sharing with us. But there's much we can do. So as we get into prevention and screening, give us a little preview of next Thursday because I got my hair ready. I'm just kidding.
Yes, and next Thursday we have Just Breathe, and that's one of our sort of slogans that we're going with the lung cancer awareness. It's a fashion show. Sand Angels and Forever Summer are going to show us some of their fabulous clothes. We have all of the models are local models. I'm just going to get the names of them for you.
Yeah. Okay, well, while she's getting them, it's normal. No, just kidding. Those are not the models.
No. So the models are Paris Broad. One sec.
It's amazing.
Very beautiful Caymanian young ladies. Very beautiful.
Coral Tomasek, Karina Connelson, Felicia Connor, Kenzie and Kayla Morse. So if you know those beautiful girls, please come out and support them.
Yes.
The tickets are on sale at the Cancer Society. They're $40. And also Forever Summer and Sand Angels are also selling them. Every single monetary donation will go straight towards the Cancer Society. We're also selling some lovely white T-shirts. Yeah. Which you can't see because you're on radio, but they're really nice.
But they can see on YouTube.
Tell you.
Cameras.
Yes. Wow. They're beautiful tank tops.
Lovely tank tops. Yes. They're lovely quality, really soft and not
your
usual
very
T-shirt.
Soft, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I would look good in that, though. Do you think that would work for me?
That would suit you.
No,
I'm going to bring you another size.
Wow, and they glitter and they're silver.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Fancy.
Yeah.
You know?
You did a good job, Miss Rebecca, designing those. I didn't know you were.
No, actually, it was Zoe Wall that helped me design these. But from creation, so
and they can be found at the Cancer Society office. You guys can stop by and purchase them for $25 to support the cause.
You know, that's something that I've found in our community is that many of us will support something, pay for a T-shirt, and sometimes knowingly, get it to be able to wear it as a way to having an educational discussion with some people. And I thought that is good because we get informed about it. We also draw attention to the particular issue. And those shirts, I mean, they're fashionable. Even me would probably look like I'm in fashion. I don't know. I don't have to do my hair now. But it's good. When we come back from a break, could we chat more about it? Give us an idea, because with the greatest of respect, this is sometimes a difficult issue. And I'm glad to know that through the educational initiatives of the Cancer Society, we can talk about cancer. But to appreciate that lung cancer in particular is something that is, the statistics said, in 10 years, 5 out of the 100 will be around. Yeah. Spin that around. 9 to 5 will not. Yeah. And that's how I heard what you shared. And that struck hard.
Me too. That's why I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So it's not to scare people, but it's to inform and hopefully invite and encourage us that we can do something. Because I had it on my desk and I telling Miss Catherine on the way back that I should probably run back and get it. When do the smoking cessation, every time you stop smoking, for every second, you get so many minutes, and every year you get so many years. These are real things that they have been able to scientifically quantify. You imagine?
So it's never too late to give up. Even some people that will say, I've been smoking for 20 years, what difference is it going to make now? But like those statistics that you just quoted are prime examples.
You imagine your banker or your investment advisor says, you give me $1 and I give you X%. Give me $2 and I give you, you would probably take it if you had it, right? Well, this is even better than that because the returns are quality of life. All right. Just Breathe, the lung cancer awareness campaign. We get a chance to continue that discussion when we return. If you want to call and share your thoughts, Silver Fox is around the other end of the phone. He says he's not as pleasant and sultry as Susan's voice, but he's still nice all the same. 949-837. He says, yeah. Oh, she already just told me. He says, yeah, I'm not going to answer the phone now. No, that's kidding. 949-6990. I like to see him laugh now and again. Give us a shout, share your thoughts with us. When we come back, more talk today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after,
visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
Make a splash at the Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 15th. Be a part of the world's richest open water event with over $100,000 in cash and prizes to be won. 1 in 7 wins. Celebrating 27 years with Swim and Win. Random prizes including airline tickets to multiple European, Caribbean, and U.S. destinations, restaurant, water sport, and health and wellness certificates. No race day registration and limited to 1,000 swimmers. So register online today. Visit flowersseaswim.com for more information. All registration fees will be donated to the Special Olympics Cayman Islands. The 27th annual Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 15th. Proud sponsors include the Flowers Group, the Department of Tourism, Davenport Development, Cayman Airways, Flow Cayman, and Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands.
It's a sizzling summer sale at Island Interiors Limited. 3 days only. Sale starts on Thursday, May 30th and ends on Saturday, June 1st. Take up to a whopping 50% off those beautiful rugs. If you need furniture, fabric, lamps, bedspreads, and cushions, drop by Island Interiors and take 20% off those items. Ready to go custom drapes, drapery hardware, and accessories are marked down by 15%. Don't forget to pick up some paintings to jazz up your walls and take 15% off. Also, any new orders placed for drapes or furniture during the sale will receive 15% off. Island Interiors Limited, located at 125 Dorsey Drive, across from the airport post office. Call 949-6262. Sizzling summer sale hours are Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Have you just completed a weekend cleanup project? Do you plan to dispose of old appliances, electronics, or even hazardous waste? Dispose of these items at the 24-hour drop-off site located at the entrance of the Georgetown landfill. This site is open to the public daily for your convenience. Do your part. Keep Cayman clean. For more tips on proper waste handling, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Happy 36th anniversary, Le Classique. That's right, Le Classique is celebrating 36 years of carrying fashionable, quality leather goods. To mark this milestone with us, come celebrate Le Classique's 36 years in business with 36% off every shoe, wallet, bag, carry-on, everything store-wide. One day only, this Friday. Celebrate 36 years with 36% off store-wide. Leather crafted with attention to detail, quality, and distinction, all at 36% off. This Friday only, Le Classique, 27 Trilogy on Mary Street, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Celebrating 36 years with 36% off store-wide. Happy 36th anniversary, Le Classique.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us. As much as I'm anticipating having the good company of Mario Gray join us later, get a chance to kind of maybe borrow from it. When they're young and enthusiastic, you can kind of feel the energy. But man, he's going to have a lot of, to level up to, because I'm thoroughly enjoying and being inspired by our wonderful guests as we talk about the lung cancer awareness campaign from the Cancer Society. Ms. Catherine Ebanks, the project coordinator and the managing director over at Baptist Health International Cayman. Make sure I get that right.
Yeah.
Nurse Rebecca Brooks. And the idea that when we look at our society, and I keep saying this, and hopefully it doesn't cause my male friends to be a little bit too, put off, but our mothers or sisters or wives or daughters or grandmothers or aunts, the women in our society have always been champions. They've always been willing to challenge and advocate for great things. And again, in the presence of these two young ladies, is that okay to say? We see champions. We see people who are front and center and steering the course. And as much as we're inspired by that statue downtown that I say should be 50,000 feet tall instead of what it is, because it looms so gracefully and it's such a powerful reminder of who we are. It just makes me feel great, man.
I agree.
All right, so lung cancer awareness.
Yes.
Ms. Catherine, let's come to you. Share with us.
Well, like Rebecca said, this month we did not plan on spreading lung cancer awareness, but we go with the flow for sure at the Cancer Society. If great organizations like Baptist want to help us out, we will go with it and run with it. Yeah. But I personally, I don't have much experience with lung cancer. I've only been working at the Cancer Society over a year, and I'm not really familiar with people in our community with lung cancer. But I do know that personally, it does hit home. Because I have family members who are smokers, and it's kind of a tired conversation to have. It's quit smoking. It's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I think a lot of people feel like, oh, like Rebecca was saying, why stop now? You know, I'm still, nothing has happened to me so far. But it's good to raise awareness that even though you may feel great, nothing may be happening to you right now, you do need to be aware of the health effects of that. And a lot of the times it can affect your windpipe, main airways, obviously your lungs. So can you imagine not being able to breathe take a full breath in? That must be uncomfortable. So it's something that you have to think about your future and how you want to feel when you're older. Do you want to be struggling to breathe? Do you want to have troubles with your mouth, eating, those kinds of things?
Yeah. As a nurse, Ms. Rebecca, you've probably seen a lot of this experience in the field you're in now equally to understand it. And there are costs, significant financial costs, personal costs, the cost to the family, the cost to the society, the loss of revenue. There are all these things associated with the smoking and with cancers, but in particular.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it doesn't just, like you were just saying, it doesn't just affect the person themselves or the patient. It affects the whole family. And from a nursing perspective as well, particularly from my intensive care days, man, it's a tough one when people have it, more often than not. And that's why we sort of came up with the slogan, just breathe, because unfortunately you can't just breathe when you've got lung cancer. And not to be able to breathe and to be struggling, I think we just take that for granted. And I think that's really what I want to bring the awareness, or we want to bring the awareness to, that, but often by the time the symptoms have developed, so symptoms such as a cough that won't go away, a change in a cough, being short of breath, blood in your phlegm or your sputum, chest or shoulder pain or loss of appetite. And these symptoms can be of other things as well, so like the common cold or the flu. But if you notice that's significant, then you really must go and talk to a doctor about it. And I think the most thing to sort of bang home is that screening is so important in terms of lung cancer. It's often too late, or it makes it, like I said, it makes the job very, very difficult. But we still try and do it to try and treat and cure the lung cancer. But it's a tough job once it's too late. But if you screen, you do like scans, you can pick up if it's a tiny little nodule or something like that. It's a lot easier to treat and take care of than it is when you're leaving it to full blown symptoms, stage 4 lung cancer. So.
And this is something that I know with my friends, sometimes even with perfect strangers, or maybe just seeing the ill effects of smoking, seeing the challenges, I try to put it a nice way, the people with lung cancer particularly have, and to watch them go through treatment and eventually, have to pass. I say to them, if it offends you and it stops you smoking, then that's okay. But for me not to say anything to you, I feel like it would be, there's a train coming and I'm standing here and I can literally lift you out of the track and save your life. It would be like that to me. And some people don't get it, because that person who's been treated, who's been affected, and then to watch them, whether it's emphysema, whether it's the throat, and they have to, it's not meant to be disrespectful or insensitive, but it will kill you. Yeah. And that's just the bottom line,
And I think if you're going to tell someone this, it comes from a place of caring. You care about them so much that you don't want them to go through this. You want them to be healthy and happy, and I guess it comes from that place as well.
There are programs to help as well. So that it's more the Cayman Islands Health Service Authority. Maybe you can expand on that.
So the HSA Public Health Department is the one that puts on the smoking cessation program every year, and a lot of people don't know about it, so it's good that we're here talking about it. They can be contacted at, I think the person is Ms. Sarah Frederick, and she can be contacted at the Public Health Department.
Yeah. It's not put it this way, I did it. So it can't be that hard. And
it is possible.
It is possible.
It is not impossible.
Yeah. I didn't do it to stop smoking. I did the
Right.
training to help people with stop smoking. Right? And you learn so much. You actually, a word that we use and has become a cliche, empowered, but you actually understand certain things.
Yeah.
And the addictive nature of tobacco.
It's huge.
I mean, there's a zillion chemicals in there. It's not that much, but it's a whole lot. You know, and it's affected you. And then the marketing strategies that are employed to hook you, to keep you.
Yep.
It's not an easy thing. So when people say, I've tried, I've failed, no, you just tried that. That didn't work for you. Try something else. Try something else.
And there are other, there's hypnotherapy and all that kind of stuff as well. There's so many different ways you can try and stop. So,
From the perspective of screening and prevention, what more could you share with our listeners in relation to that? I mean, I think sometimes, well, he won't mind. A good friend has said to me, oftentimes we ignore my interpretation of how he phrased it, the psychological implications of something. You mentioned hypnotherapy, for instance. So we don't, my uncle used to say, mind over matter. It is a powerful tool how we can utilize that if we have the support. So us as the supporting cast, the spouse, the co-workers, the children, the parents even, we can play a very, very...
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier actually, and we were talking about how somebody at work may say, I'm just nipping out for a quick cigarette break. Yeah. You know, I think we also need to change our mindset too, because if they said, they've been going to a cessation program or some kind of mental health program to help them, and they were told to take a deep breath break and go outside and get some fresh air, I think we'd all look at them a little bit strange. I'm just off to do my deep breath break, but it's the same kind of phenomenon. That's a way of relieving stress, is to take a cigarette break. So I think we all need to help and jump on board and encourage people to try and stop. Yeah,
and allow them. I mean, we would probably do more for a person who in our minds have some other issue, an addiction to something else or something else, but a person who is legally of age, legally consuming something that they legally bought, that is at one point in time it was fashionable, right? It was given to, you just had a baby and you popped out the best kind, you on the airplane, and do you want to smoke in a non-smoking section? Well, I'll take the tin can in the smoking section, please. Smoke going to stay over there. The restaurants, I mean, that was a pop. That was the thing we did. You went into the smoking. It was, thankfully, society's values have changed, but the consequences of those actions a decade ago, 50 years ago, we're still paying for it.
Yep.
The philosophical things we discuss on a Thursday. Come up later. The implications of the government policy. No, just kidding. I can see those guys getting nervous now. But I think through laughter, though, and through, as you shared the idea of having I call it the fashion show. Would that be the best way to put it?
Yes.
Okay.
Fashion show.
I want us to, if you wouldn't mind, share more about it next week.
So it's next Thursday night at 6:00 at the Patio, which is just directly in front of Sand Angels. There'll be a fabulous runway, and we just mentioned the models that are going to be showcasing all the beautiful swimwear, and then Forever Summers targets more of a younger age group actually.
So Miss Rebecca, young people are
younger than me. That's sadly. So there's something for everybody to come and look at. If you want to bring a group of girls or the guys to come along, everybody's welcome. And it's for such a good cause. I mean, I see on a daily basis, working for the organisation that I work for now at Baptist and Miami Cancer Institute, what the guys at the Cancer Society do, and I just they're absolutely phenomenal. Whatever, from a psychological perspective, from a financial perspective, just how they help people. I see it. I see the money that gets raised. It goes in and out straight away, and they really do help the community. So if you really want, I know every charity is important. I know they are, but please dig deep and really help them out, because they really do a superb job here. We're very lucky to have them.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when we come back, our final break of this segment, maybe a couple more minutes, Ms. Catherine, we could ask of you, maybe talk a little bit about the Cancer Society, some of the programming. Certainly want to revisit and get people interested in, hopefully attend next Thursday, and at least come by and get a wonderful T-shirt. I mean, that in itself, a chance. If you have a question or comment or query, 949-8037, 949-6990. Please join us again after we come back from this break.
a caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Across the Caribbean, our competitors have built piers that give cruise ship passengers a better arrival and departure experience. How can we expect to compete if we don't meet passengers' expectations?
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
The Cayman Islands Conference of Seventh-day Adventists invites you to their 125th year anniversary social at the East End Heritage Park.
On Saturday, June the 1st, 2019, starting at 8 p.m.
Come celebrate 125 years of Adventism in these islands.
There will be food and fun galore.
All are invited.
It starts at 8.
So make it a date.
And don't be late. See you there.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. And it really is a pleasure to be able to highlight, all the wonderful people, the corporate citizens at the events, but the graciousness, the charitableness of our community, and the way that we can celebrate knowing that we're doing something good collectively. And I think that's important, not only because there is a lot of need and a lot of sort of deserving programs in our communities, but the fact that what I say, many hands make light work. So from the Cancer Society, Ms. Catherine Ebanks, together with Ms. Rebecca Brooks from Baptist Health, I see this partnership not just being symbiotic, but the idea that together we bring awareness and the notion that cancers in general, but lung cancer in particular. I just tried doing a break, holding my breath for a little bit, not for long. And you need to breathe. I think there's a couple of things in life that you need to do, and breathe is one of them, chocolate is the other.
I agree.
You see? So just breathe. But anyway, Ms. Catherine?
Yes, so the proceeds from this event will go to our biggest program is our financial assistance program. And like Rebecca said, we work closely with her. I started working for the Cancer Society a little over a year ago, and I think at that time the number was around 300 going on to 400. Now we definitely have 400 financial aid clients, and just by this year, it's only the 5th month of 2019, and I already know that next year will be up probably another 100 because we're seeing so many new people, and it's good because people are doing their screenings, they're catching this stage 1, or it's something that it definitely will have a follow-up and treatment, and that's great. But then that means that there's more money to be spent, there's more medical bills, and so a lot of people, you don't expect to get cancer, like nobody expects that, and your health insurance doesn't give policies for sick people and that benefit you in that way. They only give you a policy for if you're healthy, right? So it's so important, our work, because when you get cancer, not only are you emotionally going through it, you're physically going through it, and now you financially have to go through a hard time as well. It definitely helps alleviate the burden for some of our patients, and we're so happy to be there to provide that kind of assistance.
I think this is where the corporate sort of partnerships come on board.
Yes.
To help to underwrite education initiatives, to help to sponsor certain things. And many times, from the sort of financial planning perspective, you'll hear certain people who may be in partnership, but because of an illness, they have lost everything. Insurance may cover, but it's exhausted.
Yes.
There are these things, and sometimes just being able to, even temporarily, alleviate one little burden, that screening, it certainly, means a lot to our community.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of times, you get a screening, and there may be something that it's not necessarily cancer, but something that your doctor wants to follow up on to give you a go ahead, make sure, yes, for sure, you definitely don't have cancer, and that's an additional cost that you did not expect. And after that, your benefits are exhausted. Where are you going to go? It's important to have a cancer society, I think, for our community.
I think too, though, the notion that even thankfully we're able to have these public conversations now, and I say this because it was not long ago. We all remember when we didn't talk about it. But perhaps by having a chance to be educated, to be informed, to be able to go, we know there are a lot of people who still have that reticence. They're embarrassed. They're, I don't want to say ashamed, but perhaps there's that as well. And they may become despondent because they see this thing as, well, maybe it is as bad as they imagine it. Maybe it's not as bad, but who are they going to talk to? Here's an option.
Yeah, and I think that particularly, say, with the stigma with lung cancer, being 9/10 of the people that get lung cancer are smokers, people almost have that probably feeling of a little bit of guilt that they've caused it themselves. And I think we've got to look at the bigger picture now and take some action rather than just having that guilty feeling and say, I'm going to have a screening. I know I've been smoking and that's not great. I'm really going to try and give up, but let's go and have a screening and just see how things are going. You're really not doing any harm, and I think the rest of your family will support you with that kind of a notion as well. So
there's a graphic that I've always drawn, and it's unlike me, but I think it helps. It used to be when we used to go relicense the cars in the old licensing department by the police station there, and as you walked and turned to your left, it was on there. It was smoking, and there was the inside of your body, what it looked like when you smoked. And I don't know who else liked it, who else found it distasteful, who it offended, but it has helped me to help people to understand that just like you can take, deliberately take a paintbrush and put it on a canvas and take a dot, and whether you're into pointillism or some other form, and you can create this thing. Imagine now inside your body and your lungs and all your organs what smoking is doing to you on the inside. You can't see it. What if you could reverse that and see from the inside out? And if we see that graphic, would we knowingly do that? But then understand too that people who know that feel it, but they're so addicted, right, that they're now controlled by this thing. What can we do to help them? So it is a bit distraughting, but it doesn't have to be so daunting that we're unable to, find some resolution, right?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, she said. See the joy that Miss Catherine brings, that positive, sort of flow of energy, man.
Yes, we don't want people to think that there isn't, that they can't reach out for help.
Right.
Like Rebecca said, they may feel guilty that this is all their fault and they deserved it. No, like, we're here to help. Like, there are organizations out here to help you get through this, and you shouldn't feel any shame in wanting to quit. And even if it's the 10th time you've tried to quit, anytime, it's never too late. It's never too late.
And I'm sorry I didn't bring it down, but we can find it. I'm pretty sure it's still online somewhere accurate. Every time that for every minute that you saw smoking, for every month, every year. And not only that, those things are expensive.
Yeah, the cost. And also, people often say that the taste as well of food and things like that changes dramatically once you've given up smoking.
It's true, man. And there are, but for me, you see, I know I'm cheap, you see, because, cigarettes, so much dollars, and I thought, that's too much money.
And it's not even, to be honest, it's not even just buying the cigarettes. It's all things like life insurance. If you're a smoker, your life insurance is like double the amount of a non-smoker. So it has on a whole.
Those are the costs that people don't always see. But I'm hopeful that we are able to, at the very least, bring more and more awareness to it. Through the education initiatives, we get more people to be sensitive to it, and for us who don't smoke, to be able to at least have a sense of deference to those who do, and be supportive of them. So for next Thursday, then, do we need to get tickets beforehand?
Yes.
Tell us. Okay.
Yes, so the tickets are $40 and they're available at the Cancer Society or at Sand Angels on Forever Summer. So please, 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 grab all your friends together and come out and support us. It's going to be a great event. It includes a welcome drink and there's some nibbles there as well. So that starts at 6 in the patio at Camana Bay. And like we said, all the proceeds, every single last dime and cent will go to the Cancer Society. So please support us and also buy T-shirts too. There's a few still left at the Cancer Society and the same at Sand Angels and Forever Summer. So I'd like to see you all out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful way to spend a Thursday evening.
Yeah.
And feel good about what you're doing.
That's right.
Excuse, we work too much, some of us, we take a little, 6 o'clock, by then you should be leaving the office anyway.
That's right, yeah. So if you are just leaving, it will probably the fashion show will start at sort of 6:30, so it'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. So there's no excuse.
Leave before 5, beat the traffic, get there early.
Yeah.
Come on, tell them I said so.
Sip on your little welcome drink, while you're waiting.
Yeah. It's good for your health, Sit back and spend some time with your colleagues and network and just relax and get into the spirit of things. Prepare for Friday because, next week is... Friday's going to be a difficult day, so you need Thursday then too.
Yeah, Thursday is the new Friday.
I'm just, but I think too many of us are not taking the opportunities that are there to become informed, involved, educated, and hopefully through this we'll get a chance to see how we can make a very, very meaningful impact.
Yes.
Very thanks, Ms. Rebecca.
Thank you as always for having us here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, Ms. Catherine, to you and the Cancer Society, you guys need anything, let us know.
Right.
Hopefully. So for those who, may I finally ask of you, because it's... everybody should know, the building is right there, but if they're not sure where the Cancer Society is, tell us. They can walk over, they can drive over.
Yes, so we are located at 114 Maple Road, that is right in front of Georgetown Hospital, and they can call us at 949-7618, and I can also be contacted at info@cics.ky.
Okay,
Quick question actually, can they pay it online? Somebody asked me earlier, or not?
No.
No.
Okay.
You can call on the phone. We can take credit cards, debit cards. You can call us, but
and
as
then
for
you could
online,
pick the tickets up on the night if you pay ahead of the time. We prefer not to sell the tickets on the night, so if you can purchase them before, that's better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just thought, here's a good deal we can offer people: $40 for one ticket. They can buy 10 for $400.
Yes.
That's a pretty good deal. That's a bargain.
That is a steal.
Yeah, I think you should do that. Get 9 of your friends with you.
Yeah.
And you get a good deal.
It's just 40 each.
40.
Yeah, that's all.
They're thinking, what is he on today? No, but in the Cancer Society is that yellow building right there, right? Okay, so it's accessible, parking, you pull in quickly, in and out, no problem.
In and out.
Yeah. And the same at Sand Angels too. The parking, there's loads of parking at Camana Bay now, so... No excuses.
All right.
Yes, we look forward to seeing you all next Thursday.
Next Thursday it is.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the rainy afternoon.
Thank you.
I will. I've got my hair net. Hair net. All right. Take care, Ms. Catherine.
Thank you so much.
Thank Rebecca. It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
all right. When we come back from our news break, Mario Gray is going to sit across from us. I'll tell you more. Well, stay tuned. We'll talk today.
These are our kids. And just like your kids, it seems that what we tell them goes through one ear and come out the other. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions like whether or not to drink, note that kids say that parents have the biggest influence more than anyone. So talk to your kids. Let's work together to stop underage drinking before it starts. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
How would you like to drive off in a brand new 2019 all-white Mercedes-Benz CLA 250? On Saturday, June 1st at Mango Tree, you could be that lucky person. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents its annual charity fundraising event, Benzorama 2019. That's right, one lucky winner will be announced at the Mango Tree on Saturday, June 1st, and that lucky winner could be you.
If you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance.
Tickets are $25 each, or 5 tickets for only $100. Proceeds from the funds raised go towards various Lions community projects. Tickets can be purchased online at eventpro.ky, or stop by one of our ticket outlets, including Radio Cayman Studios, Funky Tangs, South Coast Bar, Reflections Food for Less, and West Bay Road SO, or can be purchased from any of our active Lions community members. Benzorama 2019. We are all winners once you support the Lions and our community.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
School inspectors report that Wesleyan Christian Academy's performance is, quote, weak. Director of the Office of Education Standards, Peter Carpenter, says the private school was judged weak overall because there, quote, was serious weaknesses in the school's curriculum, which inspectors thought was too narrow. Inspectors identified a number of priority areas needing attention, raising standards in the high school, improving student attainment in science, addressing weakness in teaching and learning, and improving the curriculum, particularly in grades 6 through 12. The full report is found on Radio Cayman's Facebook page. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, U.S. President Donald Trump has launched a fierce personal attack on former Special Counsel Robert Mueller, describing him as totally conflicted. He said the man who led the inquiry into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election had wanted to be the FBI director, and I said no. The president also claimed the two had had a business dispute. 7 South Korean tourists have died and another 21 people are missing after a boat sank on the Danube River in Hungary's capital, Budapest. 30 South Korean tourists and 3 tour guides, as well as 2 Hungarian crew, were on the tour boat when it collided with another vessel. And Boeing has admitted it fell short when it failed to implement a safety alert system on the 737 MAX. The aircraft was grounded globally in March after 2 crashes within months. Boeing's boss said a mistake had been made in the software for a cockpit warning light called an angle of attack disagree alert. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255. Let your voice be heard. And now, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. And as I invite you to be part of a discussion, hopefully you will be not only encouraged, inspired, motivated, but you'll be mindful to appreciate that for many of us, the world is indeed our oyster, but I actually prefer chocolate. So it is for us to not only do as best as we can to be the captains of our own ship, but to bring others along for the journey. And I'm grateful for the good company of Mr. Mario Gray to join us. And thank you. Good afternoon to you, man.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
I look at life and I tell people sometimes we don't need to look too far to be inspired and motivated. We don't need to look too far to find good examples of things. And we can go through history. History is replete with so many successful accomplishments. Even in the opportunities that the people who tried to sort of avail themselves that didn't work out, or their attempts that didn't succeed to the extent that they wanted, but they tried again. Maybe even more current, whether it's something that is happening miles and thousands of miles away, or it's just down the road. We just need to be willing to look and to embrace. And as I got a chance to chat with you, I must share, it's wonderful to be able to say, you know what, we can take a page from many people, so hopefully we get a chance to take one from yours today.
I hope so.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you sitting across from us, and I think that from the perspective of today, physically, literally today, being probably for some of us, especially on the northern end of the island, waking up to a rainy, dreary day. Some very excited, finally the plants get watered, the dust is going to be beat down, we don't have to worry about it. Others is like, oh man, it's raining, and we have a different disposition. But with that rain, there's promise and potential, right? As we go into the summer, children are graduating from school, families are going to be traveling potentially, people taking up employment, change and transition happening, right? And as we embrace that, maybe the metamorphosis will be in our own lives, our own bodies.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, the cliche statement is obviously that, change is always constant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just to hear you speak about, the fact that, yes, it is raining outside. Most of us woke up this morning perhaps not, wanting to get out of beds. And I can certainly relate to that for one reason or another, But it's definitely good to be alive. I know it's perhaps not my place to speak for some people, but that's the honest truth. Once we have life, we should be happy to some extent. There are going to be things that disappoint us. It's so easy to see the things that we lack. It's so easy to see the things that we feel could have gone better. But it goes right back to that perspective thing that you initiated this argument on, which is finding always trying to find what can I do better, making healthy decisions while we wait on things to become better.
And that's the notion. I think that for me, it isn't about just always being positive and denying that there aren't the realities of life, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations, the things that people have to face. You take the working parent, for instance, who is perhaps the business owner, the business partner, who may be the senior person in the organization, or who may be the new entrant to the organization. Their obligations and expectations. That person has to come home and may or may not be a spouse, but has to deal with the household things, the children in the school. To find time to balance that with exercise, with the mental, spiritual, and physical aspects of life. Easier said than done.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not yet married. Let me just throw that out there. I don't have
taking orders.
No. I would love to be, but I guess where I'm going with this is it is so difficult for even me as a single man to find time management.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. There is no, biases to okay, you're single and you don't have a family. It is so difficult once you're somebody who have goals that has to be met, because should I tell them the secret? Yes, we both work out the same place. I do see Dwayne every single day at the boxing gym. We don't want to give away too much.
No,
However, where I'm going with this is when I come home, I am exhausted, bro.
Yeah.
I am torn up, and it is literally a challenge to get out of bed in the mornings. And many times I think to myself, wow, imagine having to have, kids and a wife, and then you still have to stick to these responsibilities. It could be tough.
But if we get a chance and you remind me, I mean, I actually pick you up on that, because I notice you're there hours before I get there and hours after I leave from when I gather. So you put in that extra. You see the benefits of it. But for now, you're doing it, right? And I have friends who, because of their life, their work schedule, their obligations, the things they're willingly sort of committed to, they have, like anything else, scheduled in exercise time. But they'll share. They may leave work, and depending on which friend and which work. So the one who is probably at the desk. So from the shoulders up is exhausted. The rest of the body wants to go, but there's no functioning because you're so mentally exhausted. For the one who's had a physically exhausting day, whether they were out on the construction site or whether they were out gardening or doing other things, they come home and they're physically tired. When night comes and they decide that they're going to lay the head, one is going to sleep better.
Absolutely.
Than the other.
Coach Tristan says it best. He says there is no better rest than the rest that is earned. It's just so funny how things turn out. I started out as just a guinea pig of his new calisthenics program.
I like how you put that. Thank you for saying that.
Just wanted to see how this thing goes, right?
Yeah.
So we have a couple of bars set up outside the Cayman Islands Boxing Association.
Okay, these are bars to exercise with, not...
Absolutely. Very solid steel bars. You can do pulls and you can do push-ups on them, that sort of thing. No, long story short, here I am now, weeks later, being a coach, a part of that calisthenics program. So I have classes that I am in charge of daily, where, people of regular different ages, teenagers as well as, not so young, will come along, and their programs are totally body weight oriented. We don't lift free weights. and you'd be surprised to see not just the physiological benefits that people are expressing. It's also this mental freeing of one's self. People telling me good things like, look, when we wake up in the morning, we actually look forward to go to work.
Yeah.
So it's a holistic approach when we start to incorporate just little by little something that gets the body moving and get the heart rate moving.
I want to also ask you about the calisthenics program and the transformation that you've either seen yourself, and as you just started to share with the others, especially the youngsters, and what I would, in my mind, I would say in a relatively short time. But just for the listeners to appreciate, if I may ask, for you, in what sort of time frame has it been, and what sort of changes, positively, physically, mentally, emotionally, have you experienced for you?
For me, I have seen that within the span of 2 weeks, my cardiovascular strength has tremendously improved from where it was 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
I'm able to run for longer. My resting heart rate feels different. I'm not gasping for air at night. From a strength perspective, because I incorporate squats, I incorporate, dips, I incorporate pull-ups, as well as chin-ups, as well as burpees, mountain climbers, bear crawls, all these various different things that you only need ground, you only need a space, and you only need a couple of bars to do. Now, while doing this for the 2 weeks, I found that, okay, there's something crazy about telling yourself, I have to do this despite my body telling me I should stop right now. And it happens within even minutes, if I should say. So within minutes of starting something that is so strenuous on the body, your body is screaming for you to stop. But your mind is telling you, no, I can't give up on myself. And just to sidetrack a bit, in my classes, that is what I say to my youngsters. I tell them this all the time, especially when they're on the verge of fatigue and giving up. I said, will you give up on yourself now? Are you about to give up on yourself? If you give up on yourself now, how can you expect anyone else to treat you with the respect that you are starving yourself from at this moment? Right. So I'm using that mental thing that I have had to say to myself while I'm doing the pull-ups, and, I'm on set number 10. And I have to do 15 reps, and I'm on the 13th number, and my arms are killing me. And I'm saying to myself, no, I have to keep going. I have to pull this out of myself. And you would be surprised, sometimes the body is weak just because you tell the mind, I am done.
Yeah.
Your body is willing to go as far as your mind tells it to go. So the stronger you tell yourself, it's all about your goal.
Yeah.
It's all about how much you want it. And sport in general, physical activity in general, has a way of, I believe, transforming the human mind into becoming more disciplined. If you know you have to stick through this craft, if you know you have to stick through this workout program, it's easier for you to get up and be the man you're supposed to be, be the woman you're supposed to be. Secondarily, there is something to be said about self-acceptance and self-respect. Prior in your conversation with the Cancer Society, you guys spoke about smoking and smoking cessation. No, I can say this. I've smoked before. I used to be a smoker, right? And the first time I started working out, the first thing I've said to myself was, wow, I need to stop smoking. So that's what physical activity does. It allows you to accept the things that you lack, accept the things that you could do better, and you have two choices. You can either say to yourself while you're on that third lap, oh my God, I need to really stop smoking. Or you can say to yourself, I'm just going to do this for a day, So physical activity has a way of revealing to oneself the things we can do better. It makes you want to respect yourself more, especially when you stick to it.
And as I listen to recognizing that when you're in an environment where people are knowledgeable about what is it that you're doing, and there are, sort of encouragement, it's a safe, nurturing environment. So just like in the classroom where the student is being given instruction in geography or math or economics or whatever it is, if that instructor, that teacher, is knowledgeable and can convey and communicate that subject, that content in a way that is inspiring, that is also meaningful, but is also understandable to the students. I look at the boxing gym, and I look at not just the people who are instructing, but the people who are participating. And I think it would be remiss when I think of say Blaze and Sabian, for instance. Hope they don't mind me, shouting them out. But here are youngsters who training, whether through academically university, but as they're working there and they're working out with us and they're teaching, you get a chance to have not just continuity, but you get a chance to appreciate that, you're doing by example, you're leading, you're causing other people to be able to follow. Something that you shared in 2 weeks. I think relative to safe to share, you're physically, strong. You're athletic.
Yes.
But in 2 weeks, an athlete, you can see a marked improvement. Right? Now, for those who would say that that's exaggeration, they try it. They'll see that maybe for them it's in 2 days. Maybe they may need to take more than 2 weeks. But consistently, we can see an improvement if we're doing the thing consistently, if we're doing it correctly, and if we're being encouraged by it. Right? If I may ask, though, when we look at the idea of education and the like, you just take a break, Mr. Fox? Is that, or we can keep talking? Keep talking. Yeah, man. Boy, he's a good fellow. He must be like what he was sharing. We're talking to Mario Gray. When we're talking about how to inspire, encourage, and motivate people to become more much healthier in their choices, to make better informed decisions relative to our health and well-being. I speak to students, and increasingly I'm discovering that not only are they very knowledgeable, but they're cognizant that the more educated and informed they are, the better their decisions. So if they understand and we give them exposure, they're going to make better decisions with respect to their health.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things I'm seeing. So the Fit Mind program that I want to ask you about as well. Could you share with us a little bit about that?
Yes, it has come into inception 18 months ago. And this has been a collaborative effort between, psychologists at the education department, as well as the president of the Boxing Association, Layla Jackson, and the coaches over there. Now, this program is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It incorporates everything that we've discussed thus far, where you have about 18 kids coming on a day-to-day basis, sometimes more, because I've spoken to Coach Trumpet and he told me that even 40 to 50 kids would come in at a time, right? And these kids are from the John Gray High School. They have behavioral concerns. They're at-risk youth, all the sort. And when they come in, they're given different projects that they have to undertake. Most of them are obviously physiological. They have to hit the punching bag. They get to run up and down and get the cardio going. But they did something that I found very unique. They have these benches inside the Boxing Association, just regular wood, regular benches that you would sit on. But the artwork, it is amazing. It's just really beautiful, and it's almost existential,
Yeah.
So you'll see a boxing glove on one, and you'll see stars over the other, and you'll see different planets. And one will say to themselves, what's the connection? What is this? But in conducting my own interviews, because I do write articles for the Cayman Islands Boxing Association, so I had to conduct interviews with them, just inquiring a little bit more, finding out why are these weird art being put together? Why are we mixing painting with boxing? And you'd be surprised, as Coach Rogerio said it best. He says a lot of these kids who come in here, they suffer from anger issues. They suffer from, a plethora of other things that they're going through at home, even abuse, that sort of thing. But when they come there, they are getting to express themselves artistically. They're getting to show through their paintings and through their running up and down and through their fighting and everything that they have hidden talent that nobody else could see. And it goes back to harnessing aggression, harnessing, those types of feelings in the right way.
I think as people look at boxing, and if any of us have been around it, whether we like to name drop and say, yes, I remember being around Mr. Dalmine, or whether we've actually been around, whichever, there's a perception, whether you're back in the UK or whether you're more familiar with what happens in the US. Boxing is in these parts of the country, the city, where these people come in. But the beautiful part of what I've seen at the boxing here is that it's the professional, it's the student. It's just a student. It's the student who has a potential, but for whatever reason, whatever is not fully realizing that potential.
Right.
Everybody in the boxing gym is on an equal and level playing field.
Yes.
And from the burpees to the attempt at the pull-ups. I'm not got there yet.
You soon, man.
Your physical is spent. You're mentally, sort of empowered. And when you finish, whether you're worried about how your mascara, how your hair,
right.
how sweaty your clothes, you are sort of being conditioned, body, mind, and soul, to succeed.
Absolutely.
And you look at boxing, and you look at, well, my perspective, at some of the quotes, whether it's more recent like Evander Holyfield, and he would have scriptural quotes with his things, or whether you would look at even Muhammad Ali and how he would quote, not so much the biblical quotes, but other quotes. And then you see throughout the boxing world that there's inspiration. Just come into the boxing gym, you see so much, don't be afraid, just believe, We look at so much that inspires and motivates and brings us to that place where there is success, and it's measurable, and it's almost, limitless.
And I see them doing the same thing with this Fit Mind program that we're talking about. It's not just we're going to get the kids to come in here and just exhaust themselves so that they can forget about their issues or their host of issues. It is the message that these coaches are infiltrating in their minds while they're doing these activities. It's the mental training. It's reminding them, not just with the words that they're saying, but just like you said, when you look up on the walls and you would see something in the corner of the boxing gym that says, "Don't fight, box." It distinguishes in the young mind, the young aggressive mind, I might even add, that there's two different things. Fighting and boxing is not the same. A boxer has controlled aggression. Coach Trumpet would be the first to tell you, if a man enters the ring when he's angry, he is going to lose. But if you find yourself in a confrontation on the street or in the schoolyard, you're just angry and you don't know how else you're supposed to feel about that anger other than I should hurt this person in front of me. And in turn, you're hurting yourself. You're robbing yourself of a future. So these are the messages that, we're telling them when they come to the boxing gym. And just to add one more thing to that, it begs to show you why the psychologists from the Department of Education are on board, because obviously they recognize the psychological impact of this positive reinforcement through words, through subliminal messaging, through the environment that breeds positivity.
It's a complete approach, and as you were sharing, there are many who would quickly recognize the scripture talks about, never discipline in anger, right? And so for that parent, even for that teacher, who justifiably may be annoyed at whatever just transpired, if you take a minute, take a time out, we see the Family Resource Center has this, SNAP program, and it's the same philosophy. Take a time out as the arbiter, the disciplinarian, the adult, the parent, the teacher, who is going to say, okay, I need to mete out some level of sanction. That could be anything. But if you take a second to think about it, that sanction may be even more effective if you had a chance to think. We don't do that. We respond to an email immediately because it has come in. And then later on we say, man, I should have added this. I shouldn't have put that in. Maybe I should have said it this way instead of that way. Likewise with the boxer in the ring. You go in there with an objective. But if you go in there with a control, focus, mind, strategy, you're going to be much more effective. Now, Mr. Fox tells us he wants us to take a quick break. I was excited. Why, when we come back, let's talk more about that. Let's talk about how we can bring more people to the table to understand that our wealth is indeed in our health. The notion that we can see success if we're willing to be, sort of put in effort. Sounds good. 949-837, 949-6990. Give us a shout and share your thoughts with us. The toll-free line is equal to there, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
CUC advises participants in the Green Iguana Culling Program to exercise extreme caution around the CUC's poles and power lines, especially when extracting iguanas from trees or branches that are in close proximity to poles and power lines. Participants should keep all objects such as poles, sticks, or hooks away from any CUC equipment to avoid any electrical contact. For further information, please contact our customer service team at 949-5200 or via email at service@cuc.ky.
Ahoy! Pirates Week food and craft vendors reserve your stall starting June 3rd. All food vendors must use biodegradable containers and utensils. And don't forget, a valid food handling certificate must accompany your application. Learn more at piratesweekfestival.com or call 949-5078. There's limited space, so register early starting June 3rd.
Stay up to date with the latest in healthy living and fitness trends every Saturday morning at 9:30 and Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the health of it with Tara Bush.
Most clinics in the United States, they kind of like one surgery fits all. You're saying, that's not necessary. That's not going to be the case with me. And that's good to hear.
For the health of it is proudly brought to you by GNC. Join the GNC community and take advantage of their discount days. The first 7 business days of every month and every Wednesday. GNC. Believe in the power of nutrition.
Keeping cool in Cayman is essential, but can be costly. Making small adjustments to your household can lead to big savings and help protect the environment. Keep your blinds, curtains, doors, and windows closed when it's hot outside. Using a fan instead of AC will use less power and can cost a mere third of air conditioning. And when using a fan, rotate it anti-clockwise, which will blow the cool air downward, saving even more energy and money. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning, and Infrastructure Facebook page for more tips on alternatives to AC and be an energy advocate.
Make a splash at the Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 15th. Be a part of the world's richest open water event with over $100,000 in cash and prizes to be won. 1 in 7 wins. Celebrating 27 years with Swim and Win. Random prizes including airline tickets to multiple European, Caribbean, and U.S. destinations, restaurant, water sport, and health and wellness certificates. No race day registration and limited to 1,000 swimmers. So register online today. Visit flowersseaswim.com for more information. All registration fees will be donated to the Special Olympics Cayman Islands. The 27th Annual Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 15th. Proud sponsors include the Flowers Group, the Department of Tourism, Davenport Development, the Cayman Compass, Remax, Red Sail Sports, DART, and the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today, and we invite you to be a part of the discussion. Hopefully you'll be positively encouraged. You'll find this to be nurturing. You'll find this to be inspiring. And at the end of the day, you'll take action to make your lives even better. Mario Grace sits with us, and I must share, to be able, honestly, to surround yourself with people who are positive, nurturing, encouraging, who are supportive, but who are real, who are willing to help you to attain your goal. Maybe it's something that you want done. You're building your house. Maybe you need your car, service or something. Maybe you're trying to study for an exam. Maybe you're exercising. Maybe you're just trying to learn how to prepare a particular dish because you want to impress somebody or you just want to be able to enjoy it. Having people who are willing to help, so crucial. But as we're talking about this and as we're going to go through, hopefully you'll be willing to share more with us about the calisthenics program, talk more about Fit Minds. But as we were speaking, I wonder sometimes to the extent that as people, when we look at ourselves and we become reflective and introspective, when we start to think about, what is it that moves and motivates us? Do we ever ask the question, who am I? What am I? What do I want to be? If I was to respectfully ask you, who am I? How would you respond, my friend?
I'm a champion.
Champion?
And I wouldn't even say it that low. I'm only saying that for radio quality. I would scream it. Reason being is because that has been driven into my brain from my personal coach Tristan.
Yeah.
You know, he's a mentor to me. He is. When I look at him, I see the man I want to be one day, because he's the type of guy that he helps without wanting to be recognized for the assistance he's given. If you understand what I'm saying. And it goes right back to what you're saying about surrounding yourself with nurturing individuals who see something in you that you perhaps not even see in yourself. So, you know, he would give me planks to do, and I'd be holding the plank, and, you know, it's burning you in your core, and he's allowing me to listen to these motivational messages from, you know, great fighters or, you know, great men who lived before and have done great feats, and every single time, who am I? That question is asked, I have to respond with, I am a champion. I am a champion. I am a champion. Even, he never even calls me Mario unless we're just speaking personally. It will be, hey champ, let's go champ. And that is, it goes a far way when you're working with people and you use positivity to title them. When you see something in them and you say it to them, it reminds them of who they are, because no matter how much self-confidence you have, no matter how intrinsically motivated you may be, you get weak at times. You know, you sometimes feel like you're not worthy.
As I listen to you, I recognize a number of things. You know, they say a man, I guess, a woman. You know by the company you keep. So you surround yourself with people. People may look at you in that light. Hopefully, you're positive. Hopefully, they are. Hopefully, they're ethical and have integrity, and that hopefully rubs on you and so on. But the notion that for me, is that the scripture talks about, you know, you can speak things into being, call those things aren't as if they were. As you share that, I'm seeing that. If we say to our children, if we say as a teacher to our students, positive things. I had a most unfortunate discussion the other evening with some students who, now, this school year, this, you know, academic year, have experience in their classrooms, public and private, you know, secondary, primary, where teachers have made comments that I would describe as demeaning, disparaging, discouraging. I thought, in this day and age, we still have those things transpiring in their classrooms. And when I said it to someone who I thought much, you know, smarter than I am, much more, sort of highly placed, instead of taking it on board and say, okay, how do we address that? Because that one teacher with that one comment, even every 10 years, is one too many. Right? And all undo all of the sacrifices and the great things that all the others are trying to do with all the other challenges that we have. So it's good that we have that sort of, you know, inspiring thing. I am a champion. Huh?
Yes, and I mean, you know, people do have the argument to say it doesn't matter what you hear at school as long as you're telling your kids at home that, you know, they're loved. But on the contrary, it actually does, because we all know that children spend majority of their times in these schools, around these people, around these messages, and disparaging comments can only go so far into the child's psyche. Personally, I had a teacher who, when I was going to school, told me I would never be a pilot. And I'm going to say to you, it does affect me to this day if I'm supposed to think about it too hard. It, you know, it really affected me back then, because that's all I ever wanted to be, was an airline pilot.
And who knows, you might have been, but for that, who knows?
Right. Fortunately, though, at the age of 15, I had a teacher that told me I'm good at speaking and I should possibly think about being a lawyer or going into journalism. And Radio Cayman did open their doors and gave me work experience at 15. Now I have a journalism degree. So it goes.
You know what? Thank you for sharing. I didn't realize it was that early that we reached out to you, man.
Yes, it was.
And that wasn't yesterday either. I mean, you look young, but just so people know, that was not yesterday.
No.
But the idea, though, that you never know the positive impact you can have. You sometimes don't always appreciate, sadly, the negative connotations of what you say and do. But that positive impact, almost 15 years ago. Right. I won't go too much further than that.
Trying to find my age.
No, I know your age. You know, I had my people look into your people, not just kidding. Okay. No, but the idea that teacher, for instance, right. And we don't oftentimes give our teachers enough credit. And I use that in both sense, that the impact that they can have, good or bad, thankfully most are good, on the life of that child. So that encouraging word can go a long way. And when we think of so much that has transpired, it's unfortunate. I think of what you shared, and I had a classmate. He said this many times publicly, and I know For us, anyway, it's a great way to be reminded that people shouldn't allow people to dictate and define who you are. He's a physician today. I believe, I'm told, that because he born just a little bit before me, that when he was in the womb, he was practicing surgery and stuff. He wanted to be a physician from the womb.
Wow.
When he came out, his first words were, "I'm going to be a doctor." So he always wanted to be a physician, right?
Yeah.
And in school, early on, a teacher said to him, "You never darken the door of a mid school." That's what she said to him, right? This guy's a gifted physician, smart as, probably none smarter, but always wanted to be that. And yet, despite that negative word, he was able to overcome. But like you, that still plays in our psyche, 1,000 years later. Because, unlike, we look young, but we're still not as young as we look, right? But he still recalls that very, very painful, hurtful comment.
Right.
Thankfully, it didn't destroy him. But what would it have done had he not been who he is with the psyche, the support?
You're right, because only a handful of people have what I call stubborn desire. You can even take it one step further and call it stubborn faith. It's this witting belief in oneself that regardless of what I hear from the outside, I am chosen.
Yeah.
I am supposed to be here. Nothing happens in my life by chance. Things might not look right now, but I will get there eventually.
Yeah. My uncle always said, mind over matter, no matter what it was, right? And every day I hear his words and I recognize that the mind is a powerful, there was a commercial on American television way back when that PSA that said, a mind's a terrible thing to lose, or whatever it was, however it was worded. And yet we don't appreciate how important it is, the positive thoughts, the things that we listen to, the things that we watch. What's a song that we used to sing, and maybe they still sing it now? Be careful, little eyes, what you see, little ears, what you hear, and hands, what you do. And
right.
Those are things that we don't take on board enough. And that failure to deliberately ensure that our young people are exposed to positive, constructive, nurturing things. What are they listening to when they have those, horrible things stuck in their ears? What are we allowing them to watch? And we want to get concerned that it may be nudity or some other thing similar, or are we looking at the violence? Are we looking at the words, the language, the context? Maybe we're not. Maybe we are. Not sure. Mario, from that perspective, when we think, and certainly invite you to call and share, because it's not always an opportunity. For me, this is an honor to be able to say, here we are, here's where we could be, here's where we want to go, and here is, in a very short time, some very, very identifiable, measurable successes. And as you were sharing earlier, I use the word transformation. I may not be the best way to put it, but if you ever seen anybody who has started to exercise, for instance, and they were maybe muscular, but all of a sudden they're more muscular. Maybe they were sprinting and, the 100 meters took them 15 seconds and now they're down to 12 seconds. You can, in a short time, noticeably see the improvement. If you don't mind, that is very evident in you.
Thank you.
And it's inspiring, man. It's encouraging.
And that's the beauty of sport, and it's something that I not only want for myself. I've even written in one of my recent articles, are you happy to just get there, or are you more happy about bringing those along with you? There's several ways we can do that. I heard you touched on scriptural references earlier. And my whole thing about anything that has to do with, scriptures or the Bible itself is about being a lifestyle evangelist. I can tell you about what Mark chapter 5 verse 36 says all day. Don't be afraid, just believe. But if I show you that in my actions, in how I pursue my workouts, it's a different thing. If I show you that in how I have my conversations, in how I dress, in how I conduct my business, it's a lifestyle to it. And that is one of the beautiful things about exercise physiology. It shows you where the person is coming from and where they are now. Because as human beings, we're victims to the eyes. We love to see progress. We love to see change. My hope for our beautiful island is that exercise becomes something that is the norm. I've thought about having several different calisthenic areas throughout the island. That doesn't cost you anything but your effort. Just to have a few bars in every single district. People can go to the parks, do their pull-ups, do their chin-ups, do their dips, because naturally as men we are competitive by nature. You know, if we go by the bar, you're walking with your lady, you're holding her hand, you see 5 guys out there showing how strong they are. Eventually, you want to join that. Now, I am all for people playing scrimmage football by the Truman Bodden, as we see, or even in Bodden Town at all these different fields.
Right.
But it's different, Dwayne, when you're putting your body on the line, when it's a part of a national syndicated program. Like, this is what we do as an island.
Right.
Because I believe the fitter our people are, it changes everything. It really will, you know, especially because think about it this way. Most men decide that they want to live healthier when they go to Northwood. Why do you have to wait until you go to prison to decide that, okay, reading is good? You know, I have friends who went to prison, and it's when they came out, they're telling you about these books that they read. And when I knew them, they would never read. Or, you know, how great it is to work out and do push-ups and all of this stuff. Calisthenics is something that the only cost you will pay is your personal effort, your personal discipline. You know, and the thing is, it's about working out smarter, not working out harder. The reason why most people work out today and not choose to work out tomorrow is because they want to give 100% today, which is fine. But then if you're going to give 100 today, do you have anything left for tomorrow? You have to be honest with yourself. Give 45% today. Give 45% today. Tell yourself it is better to give 45% every day this week than tell yourself I'm going to give myself 100% on one day each week. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. I hear you. Let me ask then, from that perspective. There are days, I would imagine, like the person exercising, like anything, you really feel that everything's going great. You're 100%. I mean, you're clocking it. It's just a perfect day. If you're in the gym, for instance, and you're boxing, everything's going good. You're enthused, you're energized. When you finish, you get it. The next day, now you go back. You probably can't replicate that. The body needs time to recover. Perhaps your work day, your life day wasn't as cooperative. Maybe all sorts of things. Mentally, physically, you're not prepared. You didn't eat, you didn't sleep. Whatever the case may be. In that day, then, you just do your best that day. So it may be 100% the day before. Today, it may only be 10% or 20%. Just do it, right? Is that what we say?
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, too, you have to remember, you know, stretching is exercise. A lot of people forget that. A lot of people think, okay, let me go and do some push-ups today. Let me do 50 today. Let me do 300 today.
Right.
Okay, I did 300 yesterday. Let me cut it down tomorrow. No. If you look at Coach Tristan's approach, to me, it is the smartest thing that I've ever seen a coach do, which is why you can see my physical results. If he kills me on Monday, Tuesday, he still kills me, but he kills me in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Work a different muscle.
Right.
Okay.
So we're going to do cardio tomorrow. You know, we're going to do something that is more lower extremities based. We're going to do something that is less resistant on those muscles that you worked yesterday.
Right.
The day after that, we're going to shock your muscles again into thinking that the workload has increased. It's a mind over matter approach with Coach Tristan. And that is what I have learned from his approach.
As I listen to it, I think that is more. Now, I'll confess that when it comes to exercise and nutrition, I never really paid great attention to it. For some reason, I never got that. And I could read other things and understand them, but from the food labels to understanding what is a portion size, how to have a balanced meal. Thankfully, there were people in my life who made that easy. So I knew that this was good to eat, this was better to eat, this was not a good choice, so have some moderation. Thankfully, I grew up in an environment where that was almost a foregone conclusion. Today, now, it's more difficult for me to perhaps read and understand that than it is some economics textbook or something else that people would look at as a foreign language. But again, surround yourself with people so that they can instruct you, be willing to put in the time to inform yourself, whether you're reading the scriptures yourself or whether you're reading an exercise manual. And from what you're sharing, this idea of training and training properly. Today's muscle group is this, tomorrow's muscle group is that, next day is this, so that your body is getting a chance to develop completely.
Right.
All right. You said something that reminded me of this notion. By their fruits, ye shall know them.
Absolutely.
Right? That's how I've interpreted that, and we get motivated by it. When we come back from this break, could I ask of you, and for those who are listening, if you want to share your thoughts, if you have a question or comment, you seeking clarification, you just want to query something, well, 949-8837, 949-6990. Of course, toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Mario Grace sits with us. I want to ask about time and time management and the like, because the notion that whether you're single whether you're married, whether you're employed or unemployed. The fact is that, as you talked about the inmates at Northwood, for instance, that individual now has, to an extent, time. That isn't their time, but there's time. How do we productively use that time? And why is it that we have to wait until we're in that position, or we're retired, or we found a degree of wealth that we can invest in perhaps exercise equipment, or we can do something else and not be able to value the investment in our health by balancing our time? Can we chat about that for a bit?
Absolutely.
That's going to be the topic of discussion. So when we come back, more talk today.
Did you know Georgetown's revitalization goes hand in hand with a new cruise terminal? The project will create jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities for Caymanians, and Georgetown will once again be a hub for visitors and locals alike. A capital we can all enjoy. Learn more and spread the word.
Support our tourism.
Happy 36th anniversary, Le Classique. That's right, Le Classique is celebrating 36 years of carrying fashionable, quality leather goods. To mark this milestone with us, come celebrate Le Classique's 36 years in business with 36% off every shoe, wallet, bag, carry-on, everything store-wide. One day only, this Friday, celebrate 36 years with 36% off store-wide. Leather crafted with attention to detail, quality and distinction, all at 36% off. This Friday only, Le Classique, 27 Trilogy on Mary Street, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Celebrating 36 years with 36% off store-wide. Happy 36th anniversary, Le Classique.
Men, we need your help. We can't do it without you. Right now, here in Cayman, boys are struggling. They need a friend, someone to mentor and guide them. They need you. More than money, they need your time. Just 1 hour a week is all it takes. Big brothers and big sisters need men who are willing to help our boys between the ages of 6 and 16. Please join us for an information session on June 3rd or 17th at 12:30, 4 or 5:30 p.m. For more information, email info@bbbs.ky or call Tracy Ann Taylor on 326-0610. Men, we need you.
At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym, they provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Dwayne John Seymour, MLA for Bontown East, invites you to a midterm with a twist on Saturday, June 1st, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. Hosted on the Bontown Primary School field, featuring Lord Laro and General Trees. Come on out and enjoy an evening with your MLA. Hear about the progress in the BTE district, also the accomplishments by the unity government. Food, drinks, prizes, and surprises await you. Visit us at www.dwayneseymour.com. See you there.
The 18th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts, Sunday, June 30th at the Hockwell Theatre, is brought to you by the new Self-Help Community Foundation. This event is proudly sponsored by Rubis Eastern Avenue, Savannah, Red Bay and Jose's, Rainbow Realty, Cayman National, Mitsubishi, Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, Barden Corporate Services, L&T Tires, Island Heritage, Reliable Industries, Markson's Furniture, Ministry of Health and Culture, and Muck Ross. Prepaid tickets for the 2019 Talent Exposition of the Arts at the Hockwell Theatre are available at Funky Tanks and Winter Circle Sports for $10 or $15 at the gate.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All
the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. In the studio, truly enjoying the wonderful company of Mario Gray. And, I'm very encouraged, very enthusiastic. Hopefully, as others listen, we'll start to appreciate that genuinely, our wealth is our health. Hopefully that'll become a motto and a mantra for many, and we start to employ it so that, we don't forsake the work and the work ethic ethos that we need to protect and provide, but to understand it by example. If we're healthy and active, maybe we're out in a canoe, in a catboat, we're doing a little sail, we can take along the family because we're physically able to do so. Sometimes we spend so much time, pushing paper that, we can't even lift a paper clip. But so it go, right, Mario? I wanted to ask a couple of things, three things, but first we talk about time management and balancing our lives and finding that I don't know, I don't call it a sweet spot, but finding that place in our lives where we seem to find if we're healthy after we retire or if we're incarcerated sometimes. But instead of losing the mental focus, is there a way that we can get where we're exercising and we're still working, we're exercising but we're still managing the home affairs, we're exercising but we're still entertaining?
I mean, if you're a married man and you can't put aside 15 minutes for yourself, I think you're lying to yourself. You should be able to have at least 15 minutes where the kids know, okay, this is daddy's time. Wifey knows this is daddy's time, right? Okay. Yeah. That 15 minutes, 10 minutes out of that, you're doing stretching. That's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning. Yeah. That's if you're not reading the Word or whatever you choose to do. Watching the sports on the TV. I can't tell a man how to live his life. Personally, right? Mm-hmm. The things that I'm practicing now, I'm not just doing this as a single man. I have to be a husband before I am actually a husband, right? Mm-hmm. I am a solution waiting on a problem. Think about that.
Okay.
So everything that I'm doing now, I'm training myself to be that good father, that good husband. I can't wait until I put the ring on her finger and then we have children to decide that, no, I'm ready to be a husband. No. So if you are already a husband who did not prepare to be one, correct? You have to put aside these times for yourself to focus on the things that you lack. And when you start with this physical discipline, eventually it will spill over into a host of other areas of your life. So 15 minutes a day, even 20 minutes a day. Then you move up. It's all about finding the smallest amount of time to do the most amount of work. As long as you're doing some form of stretching, every single exercise has to do with pushing or pulling. Whether you're pushing with your legs, pulling with your legs, pushing with your arms, pulling with your arms. Okay? So once you are doing a full body stretch, for us, if 5 minutes out of that time, then you increase it to 10 minutes out of that time. It is up to you, the individual, to decide how much time am I going to allocate towards my stretching and my pushing and pulling.
Right. So time management. But then equally, it would seem that many of us schedule our lives. So we sometimes even schedule bedtime. We schedule lunchtime. We have schedules. Sometimes the schedule is, off a bit. But we need to put into that life schedule, that daily routine exercise, whether it's a morning, whether it's lunchtime, whether it's evening, whatever works better for the person. Is that what we're sharing?
The thing is, Dwayne, exercise is so important to some people, even some employers, that it's a must. It's mandated, at the workplace. I was laughing with, a lawyer friend of mine the other day. I don't want to call her name or even say the law firm that she works for.
Not a problem.
But what she said was that her boss incorporates a workout system where they have 2 hours out of their work time to go and do CrossFit. Now, personally, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. How many government offices or how many private offices can actually offer that to their employees?
Yeah.
It all goes back to the importance of seeing and how we view exercise physiology.
Yeah. Something that you shared that I've been trying to employ in my own life, but to get people to understand. Recognizing, as you shared, that many employers, even industries, insurance, will have wellness programs of sort. And look at what perhaps up until recently has been the norm. Let's use the executive, for instance. So that highly paid chief executive or management team is expected to be at work performing countless hours, doing things for the business, growing the business, making lots of money. And the more time that they spend, if you take a graph and you do the upward sort of curve, the less time that they have to exercise. So at some intersection, there's this equilibrium. There's just, no longer there. Until, sadly, there's an illness, there's something that happens. The person and the organization may employ a personal trainer, the physician gets involved, perhaps the dietitian comes in, perhaps a personal coach. All these are the things now to bring this thing back into balance. But before we get to that point, look at the school, in the student. Less physical activity, recess, PE, and the like. As a child does better in school, takes on more academic sort of, challenges. That increases, physical activity decreases, translates into the work world, the health issues are compounded. And then at some point, because of something negatively affecting, all of a sudden, after decades of this bad practice, we want to reverse it overnight. To your point, if we put in these parks, if we put in these exercises, if we incorporate this into our society, that the social norm is a physical, active, healthy lifestyle. Lower costs because of lower cost of health care, lower costs because our productivity increase, we have less sick days, we have less productive sort of people, and significantly better quality of life. Now, how do we get to that stage where we're seeing these things and we're making that our ethos, our mindset, the society's norm?
It starts from the grassroots level, which is, I hate to use a typical answer, but it is true. It has to start from a very young age. I have a nephew who is 9 years old. He's currently doing track and field. He trains every single day. I don't just preach to him the importance of going out there and running and doing drills and all of that.
Right.
I force in his mind, right, how special his choices are, what he's making right now. I let him know how good of a boy he is to make this decision on his own, to be a part of something that is physical, as opposed to staying home, watching Minecraft, doing the things that, most young, which I look, kids are going to be kids, right? You're going to want to play with Pokemon cards, do all that stuff. But he is learning that, look, when school is over, I have to go to training. That's his decision. He says, Uncle, I want to be a track and field athlete. Fine. We put the things in place for you to go and do track and field training. No, it's up to you. I don't tell him he has to go to training today, right? So he understands what it's doing to his body. Now that he's been doing it for years, if you can hear a 9-year-old say to you, this is the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And you can hear him say things like, I am never going to stop doing this. You can believe him, because now it's up to you, the adult or the caregiver, to keep funneling him in that direction. Now, when you have a social environment that is conducive to a healthy lifestyle, first of all, we have to incorporate also doctors into the conversation. We have to incorporate psychologists into the conversation. It can't just be something that the Department of Sports is being charged with talking about amongst themselves, and then they funnel it over to the PE teachers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I have 2 parents who are PE teachers. One would say that is why I am all about activities and exercise and all of that. That has nothing to do with it. When mom and dad did their tertiary education in physical education, a large component of their studies had to do with the mind. You know, it's about understanding that the anatomy is all about psychological understanding. Let's touch back on what you said earlier about the child who is constantly getting good grades and then you see a dip off into their physical output. Do you know why that is? Because there's a difference between brain tiredness and body tiredness. Let me just say it the simple way. When you're working every single day in this office doing Talk Today, right? Think about the days before you started working out. You remember when you went home? You remember that brain tiredness you used to feel? Do you remember how good it used to feel when you wake up in the morning? Because you're curing that brain tiredness? All right. How does it feel now when you wake up in the morning, now that you're doing physical activity?
You see, and that's the thing that you shared, that people don't understand. Back to the example I shared earlier, the two friends, one who is physically working that day, doing that thing that's exhausted, and the one who is at the office pushing paper from the shoulders up, exhausted.
Yes.
Right? Now, when we come back, you shared talking about the child, treat up a child the way he should go. That example that we set. Can we look at a couple of things from the perspective of maybe it's the cathedral builder to an extent, the notion of the sculptor looking at the large slab of granite or marble that is there. It's in there, bringing that thing to life, bringing that out. Whether it's Michelangelo, or whether it's the notion that we have this thing. How do we as a society support it? And then maybe ask about the collaborative approaches that we can have, the inclusiveness of whether it's the student and the parent, the families coming together, whether it's the male or the female. All right, want you agree? Going to give us some more insight. When we come back, Talk Today.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Final bids from the companies vying to construct the cruise berthing piers and expanded cargo facility are due to be submitted to government tomorrow. A release from the Ministry of Tourism says this marks the successful completion of another significant milestone in the project's procurement process. The news comes just hours before a public meeting is to be held by CPR Cayman, a group petitioning for a referendum on the project. Good afternoon. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines in news elsewhere. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced a new cabinet in which, for the first time in the country's history, half of all ministers are women. In another unexpected move, one of the women is from the opposition. He appointed veteran opposition politician Patricia De Lyle, who had stood for the Good Party as Minister of Infrastructure Development. U.S. actor Ashton Kutcher testified in a L.A. courtroom that he called on a young woman's home for a date in 2001, not realizing she laid dead inside. When the woman, Ashley Ellerin, did not answer the door, Mr. Kutcher said he looked in her window and saw what he thought were wine stains on the floor. Mr. Kutcher said in a court on Wednesday he was freaking out when he learned that Ellerin, who was 22 at the time, had been murdered. And weighing little more than an apple at birth, Sabi is the smallest baby to ever survive at 8.6 ounces, or 245 grams. Sabi weighed little more than an apple at birth and is believed to be the world's smallest baby to survive, and that's according to the Tiniest Babies Registry. Her birth was so premature, doctors considered her a micropreemie, a baby born before 28 weeks gestation. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255. Let your voice be heard. And now, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today in the studio. Truly enjoy the company of Mario Gray, and I hope as you listen, Mario, sometimes I look at society, and for me, it's definitely important to be positive. It's definitely important to find the good in things. A long time ago, I had a chance to be a part of an initiative, and I recognize that not only was it very evident amongst Caymanians, it was the same amongst people, but Caymanians in particular. You say something nice and positive and constructive, complimentary to someone, they kind of shifted. They didn't know how to receive the compliment. But I also found that they would not only be dismissive of it and play it down, and to this day, I still do it myself, right? But if you asked someone, okay, this is your good friend, this is your spouse, this is even your child sometimes, 5 quick things, 10 quick things that are nice that you believe, they hesitate. They're not sure where to start, what to say. Give me 100 things that you don't like about this person, and you have to stop them. I only want 100, now you are 10,000. And immediately they rattle it off, right? We find that hard. And I don't know if that's been your experience, but
yes.
I saw that, right? Why is it that the negative, the hurtful, the mean, the demeaning is so easy to say, right?
Because sin is our first language. We're shaped in iniquity.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Yeah. I purposed a very long time ago, a long time ago, that I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to be false. I will try to find the good in everything. Don't always succeed. And I tell people sometimes where to get off. Maybe I shouldn't. Right? But if we can look for the good and the positive, if we can be encouraged,
right,
and we can be nurturing, right, then we can be better, right? So if, sorry, I was at a interesting discussion the last couple of days, and I find out I need to talk less today so I can talk more in the afternoon. But before the break, I was asking you about the idea of looking at the boxing program in particular, and of all of the available opportunities to get physically active, I think the boxing gym provides an excellent outlet. You don't need to get into the gym. You don't need to spend a lot of money, and you can get really, really physically active, healthy, the heart, the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit. That's what I think anyway.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And plus you get to learn all these different things that you can do on your own.
Yeah.
The important thing is not just because we're institutionalized naturally, we want to give our best effort when we're in a building where everybody else is charged with doing the same things. So we say to ourselves, I'm going to leave work now and I'm going to go to the gym. It makes you feel like, here, I leave one institution, I'm going to this other institution where I can get better. But the thing is, when you go to the boxing gym, you're around individuals who are teaching you to be self-reliant. Self-reliance is so important when it comes to becoming better in anything, but in particular physiology. So you go there. Man. You master your own destiny. You get to learn for a few weeks. He has the programs there for you to get done. And, a smart worker would tell themselves, look, I don't need to come here every single day. If I now know the program, if I now know what I can do. It's all about how self-reliant you are and how intrinsically motivated you are.
Yeah. But it's also, too, I think, is at the end of the day, an opportunity without any pretense,
right,
and a facade to be able to do. When you finish, if you really put in as much as you can put in, you can get as much out of it as you can. And there's no, there's no pomp and circumstance. You're not there parading around the place. You're sweating, and everybody else is as well.
I mean, I must add, though, that just to your point, the time constraints and that added pressure, it does change the entire scope of the workout, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As opposed to staying at home and saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to get through the program. You might be lackadaisical in your approach in doing that. But when you have a coach saying, okay, guys, for 30 seconds, we're going to do nothing but push-ups. And then you're going to use another 30 seconds to do the ropes activities. Right. And then you're going to use another 30 seconds to swing the hammer into the tile. It's kind of like the same, anaerobic philosophy behind boxing.
Yeah.
It's so anaerobic, but it also incorporates aerobic things in it as well. So I think they're using the same specificity principle in their approach in training these people who might be avid boxers, all the way down to people who have never boxed before.
And I think the beautiful part too is that for that person who is like you, very, very athletic, physically strong, and may be able to do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups in 30 seconds. For the other person who may not get to 5, right? But next week may get to 6 or 7, and the next week, and then the next week, and the next week. You're pushing yourself within safe, manageable limits because you're excelling. You're being encouraged,
right?
And you're not there how you put it, you're not competing against anybody else. You're pushing your body,
yes,
as your body and mind will allow itself to be pushed.
And that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
It's much better to be able to lift yourself and push yourself as much times as you see fit, as opposed to lifting up a big heavy bar over your head.
Let me ask you about that then, from that perspective, because I think sometimes people, but since we both would be the male persuasion, we say men may consider that the strength is the fact that, and I'm sure it certainly is strength. You have to be strong. You can bench press 1,000 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever it is. Yeah, that is strength. But can you do 30 pull-ups? Can you do 100 push-ups? So measuring strength and conditioning and getting the heart, as well as the biceps and the pecs and the lats and other muscle group, are you doing that equally so that those things are strong and healthy?
Calisthenics, that's the beauty about it. It is that it is more holistic than laying on your back and lifting something heavy over your chest.
Mm-hmm.
What are you really working when you do a bench press? What are you really working when you do a leg press? The thing is, when you do calisthenics, you're working your core muscles almost every single time. And the core, as we know, is perhaps the most important, more endurance. You have a better chance at having stronger legs, taking pressure off your lower limbs, taking pressure off your upper limbs when you're pulling up. Because while just hanging on a bar to do pull-ups, your core is engaged whether you like it or not. You have no choice to say, okay, I'm not going to tense my core. No, you have to tense your core in order to do a pull-up. So it's this philosophy behind it that, yes, I feel stronger because even the muscles that I'm not actively trying to work out are being forced to be stronger or being forced to be a part of this routine.
Now, from that perspective then, as I look at physical activity, and I like your vision, that goal that you shared, if we could have access to exercise equipment, maybe that's not the right word to use, in our parks, in our community spaces, where it's a pull-up, a sit-up, it's something else, a dip, something that we can do while we're walking, so that it's accessible and it's economically, sort of less straining than a gym membership or that home equipment that we purchase that have become clothes hangers in our spaces, in our rooms. If we have those things available throughout, all the islands for people, and they're everywhere. I mean, we've seen them in other communities. They're not a huge investment.
Mark my words, and I'll say this today, and I hope people remember this. The several $100s that you're spending at wherever to do your CrossFit program and for your gym memberships, if you have several different bars throughout the island where you can do pushing and pulling activities on them, I guarantee you will have a greater output than all those people that's spending their money at these places. We cannot leave our physical health in the hands of a private sector. This has to be something the government has to be behind. It has to be a national initiative. Because if we are really caring about our people, yes, the government can then have the say to say, look, we have done our part. We have implemented these projects in several different parks where it is up to you, the individual, who chooses that they want to live a healthier lifestyle. And the thing is that you're not going to pay anything when you enter these parks. You're the only thing, like I keep saying, is the only thing you're paying is your effort. The only thing you're paying is the time that you will put aside to do it. Now, when you tell a working man he has to put aside $200 to go to a particular gym, right? Or how much $100 or even $1,000 to be a part of it for years or whatever. That sounds like a faulty investment. This person is going there. They perhaps don't have, the techniques down pat. They have to, probably hurt themselves when they're lifting these heavy things. You don't know where to start sometimes when you enter a gym. A gym can be a very intimidating place doing. Especially for the working man or the working woman who have just come from pregnancy and things like that.
Let me ask you then, and I say this from two perspectives. Good friend, she was on the air with us many moons ago, and we're talking about something similar, and she shared that, I would call it sort of in the Latin America world, these parks exist, so these families in the evenings would be out, and where there's a little basketball pick up close by, but there is always an opportunity to do exercise. So over here in the corner of the street, it's a little small grass area with a pull-up bar. Down there is something else. So as you had this safe walking area for the families to commune, they could exercise if they wanted to, right?
Right.
In our community, with the greatest of respect, do you think our populace, all 100,000 must live here now, because it must be almost that now, are we sufficiently mindful, respectful, and appreciative that those things in those parks, from the restrooms to the walking track to the fitness equipment, will we not just use them? Will we be respectful and take care of them, or will we be malicious and destroy them?
No, I believe we will take care of them.
You think so?
Yes,
Well,
because
I hope so, man.
What I've learned is by living in different countries, whether it be in the United States when I went to college or even in the UK, Cayman has a great respect for the rule of law. Caymanians do respect the law. They respect their environments. They respect cleanliness. And they hate, which is a very strong word that I'm using, when people come and destroy the things that we have that is making us better. You know, and I've seen the walking track. I've seen how people treat that religiously, going out there year after year, working out. Of course, it's a little more full during the January season, you know, the New Year's season. However, if you go there every single day, even the track at Bodden Town, these are actively used parks. These are things that people look forward to going to on a day-to-day basis. What I'm saying is, no, when we add more equipment to these places, there is no way that someone could convince me that they will not be taken care of.
Okay, well, I like your positiveness, the enthusiasm, the encouragement. I believe, like you, that they will be used. We're seeing the uptake almost all year round by our society. I believe more of us are starting to appreciate that we need to be the champions of our own health, and we need to, and we can, and these are things that would help. I'm hopeful that as a society we will respect our public facilities when we go into the public restrooms, whether it's at, you know, we're visiting a restaurant or elsewhere, or at our schools, that we're going to respectfully use the facility properly and leave it as clean as we can. That we're not going to throw our garbage, you know, in anywhere other than where the garbage should go. That piece of equipment that we would have in our parks that we could exercise, that I think is a great vision, that we will take care of them. Now, it's up for us to make sure we do that.
Absolutely.
All right. Final break, Mr. Fox. All right. Women in boxing. It was not long ago, Layla Ali, and, you know, well, I think she's the greatest. It was what Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier would do if they were not Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. I think between them, they brought back an interest in boxing, just like the U.S. women's national team did for football. I go to the boxing gym and I see these young people, male and female, and I see their positive development and progression from September when the school year started to now when the school year is drawing to an eye. Can we talk about that for a bit?
We absolutely can.
All right. That's what I'm going to ask Mario about. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
One TradeX knows there's more than one way to invest. One TradeX is the Cayman Islands' only fully licensed online broker-dealer, offering discount trading services to individual investors and traders, hedge fund managers, and family offices. One TradeX has the most competitive online trading prices of any offshore broker worldwide, with no custody or management fees, free demonstration accounts, and no charge to open an account with a $5,000 minimum deposit. Trade stocks, options, futures, bonds, and Forex. Learn more and open your free demo account today at OneTradeX.com. OneTradeX, the Cayman Islands' #1 choice for online brokerage. OneTradeX is licensed to conduct securities investment business by the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know in the 15 years that we've been discussing the berthing facility, our competitors have pressed on with construction and now welcome the larger ships that pass us by? It's time we built our piers.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Place household garbage in large bags prior to its placement in a garbage container to avoid spillage during collection. A suitable garbage container must be made of sturdy materials that will allow it to withstand weathering. A tightly fitted cover is also necessary to keep out water and stray animals. Do your part. Keep your surroundings clean. Store household garbage in a suitable garbage container. For more tips on proper waste packaging, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And again, thanks to Mr. Mario Gray for joining us. And I'm hopeful as people sat and listened that they were able to listen along and not necessarily feel in a way but positive, anyway, but encouraged and enthusiastic and motivated. And maybe it's not a new retiree, maybe it's the person who's been retired for a while, maybe it's the person who's working all the time, that they'll all take up the opportunity to invest more in themselves and their health and their well-being, recognizing how important the health is. So it's a song you can spend all your time making money, but you can't buy your health.
No.
All right. I asked before the break about boxing and women in boxing in particular. I hopefully won't be too, anything other than objective, but I think amateur boxing is a great sport. I think the training that boxers do, the skipping of the ropes, the pull-ups, the push-ups, the bobbing and the weaving and the movements, it's a mental, it's a physical game, it's a psychological, it's so much is involved. I think it's a great thing. I think it helps you in so many ways. So from the two perspectives, first, women and boxers and women, female boxers, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, my thoughts is that based on what I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis, it's a large turnout of women coming to the gym and they're not distracted. They're not giving half of an effort. They really love what they're doing. And I had an interview yesterday with Miss Layla, who is the president of the Boxing Association, and she echoed those same things that I've been seeing. She says we have more women coming in here on a day-to-day basis, in particular where they're seeing progress from other women who are coming in. And it's a great way to get out aggression. It's a great way, especially if you felt like you were abused before, or you felt like you were undermined, or even if none of that happened to you, just to be in an environment where you're seeing strength being emphasized through this form of male bravado, aggressive type sport. It is now being retranslated as something that we can do as well, and we have been doing, and we have been dominating it. And she said to me, look, this is something that is becoming the best than it ever has been before in previous years. Now we have a larger turnout and women are in positions of power, if you think about it, at the Boxing Association. So, it looks good, and it feels great.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that because I think of two. I mean, we see the success of Brandy, and I didn't get her permission, but Brandy is a public figure, right? So we see her success internationally.
Right.
But the other young lady, as we come in, we see her skipping, we recognize, Tom, right?
Yeah, she's good.
I didn't get her permission to use her knee. Apologies to Brandy. I use hers because, she's a public official, so we put her on a status of celebrity. But to watch this other young lady in the boxing program and to see her with Coach Floyd sometimes doing other things, and there are a number of others, and I thought, wow, the focus, the discipline, the determination. The others, not just the male, but the females who are there doing, the physical activities, the incredible improvements, not just in their physique and strength and stamina, but my perception of the confidence, the conviction, the way that through what they're doing, they're serving as an example, maybe to other men as well, but certainly to me. Mario, when we look at that idea of what sports and physical fitness and a healthy populace, I look at Cayman and I can think of almost every sport.
Coach Tristan said it best. He said, look, if we can find a way to get the track and field guys in here to help us with being quicker, if we can help the weightlifters to come in here to teach us techniques on how to lift, if we can allow someone who is versed in skipping, to come in here and teach us skipping techniques, to do it the right way in a competitive fashion. It's all about a cross collaboration between all these different sport associations working together. I give you my strengths, you give me your strengths. No man is an island.
Right.
Let us work together at being the best athletes we can be in our respective sports. And that approach, I believe, will take us to the next level. You know, there's so much different philosophies that we have. Everybody has an opinion as to how we can improve to another level. But just sitting with Coach yesterday and having a conversation, it really brought me to, you know, where we really are as an island. When he said, yes, we can produce Olympic athletes, but how many of us can truly, honestly step forward and say, I am an Olympic level coach. I can get outside of these borders and get the same results somewhere else. And if we're honest with ourselves, it's not many of us that can actually say that.
So with that then, and I appreciate that level of candor, because we don't seem to value the importance of the investment from the individual who wants to be the competitive athlete to the instructor. And I say this not so much I say this not to disparage at all, but it was an egregious statement when, you know, the local newspaper once in the state editorial talked about we should never expect to produce Olympians, never expect to perform on a world stage because the population is too small. And I thought that was very offensive, not just for those of us who believe that we could compete on the world stage, but it would send a very, very, you know, negative message, a very demeaning and demoralizing message to that young person who says, you know what, I want to grow up to be the next Carl Lewis, the next Jesse Owens. You know, I can compete and be the next Mia Hamm.
Or the next Kimar Hyman, somebody who I was speaking with. I was working out with him the other day, and I'm so impressed with him.
Yes.
Kimar believes his best years is ahead of him.
Yeah.
Kimar is 29 years old. Kimar isn't out here speaking like, oh, you know, I think my best days are done and I should hang it up now. Or he's not one of these athletes who is clutching to prior glory and saying, I have done it at the character level. No. Speaking with Kimar this week, I learned so much that we can only be limited if we limit ourselves. He is so filled with desire. And not just for himself, but for the youth that is coming up in the Cayman Islands Athletic Association. Yeah, that there's so much more of us, that we have so much potential in us that we can prove. And also, it would be remiss of me doing if I don't mention Carl Morgan.
Yeah.
Carl took time out of his schedule to work with the boxers, gave them a strength and conditioning training by 7 Mile Beach, teaching them things that we have learned as track and field athletes. And it changed the entire, you know, landscape of how these guys go about training every day in the boxing gym.
Yeah.
Because monotony, we all know how that is, right? As a sport athlete, it allows you to know you don't want to give the best of your effort at times, which is why you'll see Steph Curry and these guys leaving the basketball court to go and play golf.
Yeah.
No athlete wants to just be confined to their sport. A basketball player doesn't play basketball in his spare time. That's his job now. So that's what this collaborative effort does when you cross-breed sports.
So I thought they want to be like Michael Jordan, but I hear you, right? And this idea that we look at this sort of approach, and something that you wrote. I mean, I enjoyed the many things you've been writing recently, but I love football, no question about it, right? It's a sport that you can play forever. You're male or female, you can play at any age. And I think back to some of the guys that we play football with. They were good football players, no question. But sometimes, just to see how fast they were, you could kick a ball, they would wait 5 or 10 minutes, and then take off. And before the ball gets to the other end of the field, you know, they're already there, cooked a meal, sat, ate, took a nap, and then came. I mean, they were like lightning. They were super. Okay, they were fast. Those were guys who were fast, but they play football. How many of them will look at and say, you know what, hey, maybe you could be the next Olympic gold medalist in the 100 or the 200.
Man,
right?
I went to school with some guys like that when I was in John Gray. You know, they didn't want to do anything except play football.
Yeah, man.
I recall one Alejandro Ruiz. I'm not sure if he would be happy with me calling out his name, but that boy was fast.
His father's album would.
Fast. I mean, so fast that I would say to him, I say, Ali, play stop playing football, come to us, come and join track and field. And he was never interested because of that love for football.
Yeah.
It makes you think. What if coaches were, yes, I know you love this particular sport, but instead of me telling you, you can only play my sport and no other sport, what if we were supposed to change that approach, especially at the high school levels, at the year 11, at the year 10s, at the year 9s?
Even primary school, man.
It's something to think about.
Something to think about, and perhaps, hopefully, people will not see any negative connotation of what we're sharing, but I think too many times, we as the adults, the parent, the coach, the teacher, the adults, we don't allow the child sufficient time and opportunity to explore, to be able to see, what, you can be good in multiple things. I had a good friend in school, smart, a perfect score in SAT, so academically smart, vocabulary out of this world, who did well in the classroom, who could run, who could play football, who could play music, who could speak languages. Now, you might say this is an exceptional student, unusual. But I share with you, there were so many more as good in some of those things as he was. May not, if he did a dozen things, they may only be able to do half a dozen. But there's so many of us, like you shared with Kamar, reminding us. A small community with so much promise and potential. Mm-hmm. Are we harnessing it? Are we encouraging it? Are we trying to nurture it? Are we instilling that value, that pride, that respect for ourselves and for each other? I want to ask, on behalf of our listener here, 2 questions. It says, how much are the classes at the boxing gym? And the question is, what are the times and when can I start? I don't have the answers for that.
Tell them that we have a 5:30 a.m. class. That's the earliest class that we have.
Okay, I think I might have that somewhere here. There are a lot of classes.
Yes,
come by the gym and find out what are the costs. I mean, I don't have that stuff on my hand. Do you have that here? So classes I know start, they're like a million classes. There's a 5:30 class, I believe, for like the national program. There's one for the recreational boxing at 5:30. There's a half an hour at 5:45 for circuits and the strengthening routines. Some recreational boxing stuff at 6:30. There are classes in the evenings.
There is
5:30, 6:30, 7:30. I mean, there are like 1,000 classes. And it is fun. I mean, you're not there to look pretty. You're there to get healthy, and then you can look pretty afterwards.
That is correct. And to that caller who is interested in joining, I would suggest that they contact Coach Tristan, Coach Trumpet, or Coach Rogerio as it resorts to anything that has to do with payment. But the best thing for them to do is just to come out.
Come by the gym.
Just come.
So the Dwayne Ebanks Boxing Gym is up by the Lions Swim Pool near the Trombone Sports Complex. It's right there. It's a fun place.
Oh, yes.
I actually think that it actually performs miracles, because I've been accused since I've been going there, I've gotten more handsome. I'm not sure that's true. He's like, that's not true. You're not supposed to laugh so loud and you're your friend.
Oh, my God, Dwayne.
But listen, thank you for spending some time in the afternoon with us. And you've been
my pleasure.
Truly, truly encouraging. I hope that people will start to value our health. Don't do like I have done, so many of us. We wait until a certain thing transpires in our lives. We wait until we find that we have some money, that we can buy something. We wait until, start now and be the example for our children. I have a whole pile of sisters, and 2 of them always used to tell me, you need to make time to exercise. You can't take care of business. You can't take care of the family if you don't take care of yourself.
That is true.
And I never really took it on board. Thankfully, it's never too late to start. So even though, I'm 1,000 years old now, I still look young and healthy. Right? It's never too late to start, right, Mario?
That's right, bro.
And you might actually be able to get the same physique that Mario has exhibited. Come by the gym if you think I'm joking. You can see this young man in action. Hey, thanks very much. All the best here. Enjoy your afternoon.
Same to you, sir.
All right, to our listeners, thank you so much. I ask of you, to do many things, but above all, to be as positive, encouraging, nurturing, positive, productive people, who are healthy, can make a society better. If you see something that you don't like, find a way that you can make it better. If you see something that looks good, see if you can add to it and improve it. Spend less time and energy trying to be, that one who destroys, demeans, demoralizes, impedes, somehow hinders progress, and be the one that encourages and nurtures. Our society is a great place. Simple things like picking up after your dog while you're walking it, to keeping it muzzled and leashed properly so others can enjoy it, they go a long way. Would you want to be in prison or have to pay a fine, or to know that someone has been scarred for life just because of your errant behavior? Well, maybe you do. Does take much to be even better. Until tomorrow, be blessed.